You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network. ronanddon.com.
All right, look out now. Here we come. It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. And don't forget, give us a like, give us 5 stars, give us something, right?
Yeah, subscribe anywhere you subscribe. I'm still getting people like, how do I listen to you? I'm like, open your phone. Go to a podcast player. Doesn't matter if it's Stitcher, if it's Anchor, which is the one that hosts our podcast, if it's Spotify, if it's Apple. Just type in Ron and Don Radio. It's amazing to me. I had someone, I was walking through someone on the phone to do this, and they got so excited. There you are! I'm like, yeah, there we are. And so, like, the fact that for whatever reason it popping up for them on their phone made it real. So it'll pop up on your phone, hit subscribe, and if you give us a rating, 5-star or whatever. The real big thing to me is sharing it with people that you knew listen. So, like, shout out to Joy, who didn't know that we were doing the show anymore, and so someone shared it with her, and now she's like, I'm going back to episode 1. I'm starting from the beginning and catching up, and so she's like, I'm so glad to be driving with you guys again in her car.
RonandDon.com has everything, and a lot of people still ask us, hey, what happened in terrestrial radio? That's episode 1, so check it out. RonandDon.com. We are licensed realtors with Windermere, and also the Ron and Don podcast, the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. Before we get rolling today, we got a lot of cool things we want to talk to you about. I've been doing something that has kind of blown up in my face a little bit. I want to get I want to get your take on this.
Among other things, we have a lot of stuff that blows up in our face.
My son went to Michigan for a month, and I really missed him. And I was going to send him off to camp, and I missed him so much. He said, you know what I'm going to do? Because I went a month without him. I'm going to spend a month with him, and I'm going to be his camp counselor. And I have been having a great time, and my 9-year-old seems to be miserable. And so for this last week before they go back to school, because we live in the Seattle area.
Time out. What does that mean? That you plan an activity every day as if you're in camp?
Every single day, I wear my whistle, I put my spot-belt cleats on, and we go out and we have activities.
That is a lot of planning.
It is just him and I, and far...
Give me some examples. Are you guys like making leather bracelets or crafts?
I'm about to give you I'm about to give you an example here. Because this is what I figured out. He is not really enjoying his time because I used to be daddy. Now in front of his friends, I'm becoming hey you. It's kind of turned into that a little bit. And so what I did is I reached out to a friend of mine, my friend Liz, who I do a lot of trail running with and do some mountain climbs, some other things. And she has a son who's 16 years old, and his name is Michael. And Michael just learned to drive a car, and Michael does some babysitting. And Michael also put together a camp. He put together just for my son, G-Force. And it's called Camp Michael. And so for this final week, I've been paying Michael to, and Michael has a nanny. So there's layers here because Liz doesn't totally trust that Michael can take care of my son for their full 8 hours at camp. And I know my son wants to be away from me. So you have the nanny, Rebecca. Below Rebecca is Michael, Camp Michael. He's a 16-year-old. Below that, you have my son, G-Force, who's 9. On top of that, you have Liz, who's the mom, who's at work. And then you have Dad, who's driving away, just hoping this whole thing works out. And at the end of the week, I'm supposed to pay somebody, but I'm not sure. Do I pay Michael? Do I pay Rebecca? Do I pay who do I pay?
I want to be the nanny in this scenario because you're just hanging out, getting paid.
So anyway, yesterday, I heard they were going on an activity down to the Pike Place Market. We are about to have a family reunion back in Illinois in a couple weeks. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? My son is going down to the Pike Place Market. He asked me if he could have some money because he wants to go and he wants to buy gifts for the family down at the Pike Place Market. So I went, he watched me go to the cash machine. I'm about to drop him off at Camp Michael, which is basically just Michael and my son sitting in a room playing video games.
It's kind of egotistical that Michael names the camp after himself.
What's that?
It's a little egotistical.
I love it.
Shouldn't it be like Camp Rainier?
I don't know. It's Camp Michael.
Camp Sammamish?
I love that.
Camp Lake Washington, something. It's Camp Mike.
It'd be something that I would do. So anyway, I stop by a cash machine. I pull out some cash. I put it in my pocket, and he says, "Daddy!" And he went because it's still Daddy when it's just he and I. It has become very important to him because he knows I'm going to hand the money off to either Rebecca or Michael. He wants to hold the money.
Of course,
he wants the money in his pocket. And then I went through a couple different examples with him of when I've given him money and he doesn't know where the money is. And so I asked him about the different times I've given you money. Do you remember losing the money? He said he did. But
this time is different.
He said ever since he went to Michigan, he's a big boy now, and he's responsible. And he challenged me yesterday.
Time out.
He challenged me.
I've seen your son 2 times since he got back. The first time he left his backpack behind, which has everything in the world that's valuable to him.
There's a lot of stuff.
The second time he left his favorite sweatshirt there, it's still here.
Yeah,
it's upstairs. Every time I see him, I'm bringing something to you that he left. So like this is not gonna this doesn't end well. Real quick, just a side note, because I just had a very powerful memory when you brought that up. Do you remember at what age the first time you held $100 bill is?
Wow, probably last year for the first time.
No, I'm serious.
I grew up.
It was around this time, your son's age. My mom sold her station wagon. And I remember that they had several $100 bills. It was the first time I'd ever seen one, first time I'd ever held one, and I remember they let me hold the $100 bill. And I mean, nowadays, I don't know what that's worth, but back then, that seemed to be worth a tremendous, the most money I'd ever seen in my entire life.
When you could buy a station wagon for $200.
Yeah, it was maybe $400.
So anyway, I look at him, and we're driving, and we're on our way to Camp Michael. We got about 30 minutes, and so I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to teach him a life lesson here. He is going to learn something at camp, even though I can't be at Camp Michael. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to be a part of it. I know my son has had a miserable summer with me. He's off to and he's been having a great time this week. You know what we're going to do? We're going to build a little trust here. And so what I did is I'd taken out $160, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him $20. And so we had a discussion about the $20, where he was going to put the $20.
Is $20 significant to him?
What he was going to spend the $20 on. And then also I gave him control of the $160. Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give the $140 to Michael, who is 16 years old. He should be able to handle $140.
He's a camp director for crying out loud.
I said, yeah. And
he's got a whole budget for camp.
Right. I said, Michael is going to have your money. You're going to have 20. He's going to have 140. And I want to make sure that you use this money to buy presents for everybody at the family reunion. Buy something for yourself and buy something for me. Is the direction that I gave him.
That's a lot for a 9-year-old.
And then I also said, make sure everybody has lunch at Camp Michael today, which is just Rebecca and Michael and my son. Make sure everybody has lunch.
At Pike Place Market, that's $90 right there for lunch.
The O'Neills are paying for it. So anyway, I roll up yesterday. I pick him up, and he is very, very excited about his purchases that he made at the Pike Place Market. And I brought the purchases today.
He brought a pair of shoes?
It's a Hoka box, and inside the box are the purchases.
Okay, perfect.
And so I want you to take out because something's not adding up here. Something is not adding up on the purchases.
So my total budget's $160.
Well, you know what? I want you to erase the $160 from your mind. I'm going to show you an item.
Okay.
And I want you to be real about this. I want you to write down and tell us what you think the item might be worth.
These are Pike Place Market prices.
They are, and that's
all right.
And that's fine. And they might be a little inflated.
I've been down there recently.
So let me take out a couple things. Here's the first thing.
Okay, that is a rubber octopus pen cover.
That's what it looks like. No, it's a finger cover. You just
put it on your finger.
You put it on your finger. It's rubber.
All right.
What do you think that's worth?
I'm going to say that was $6.99.
Oh, you're kidding. No, these are about 99 cents.
Okay, well, were you going to tell me? Are you going to let me do my budget or what?
I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. Okay,
Have you been to Pike Place Market?
Yeah.
They sell. I would say. All right, I'm going to go $6.99. That's my guess.
I think that's rather steep for that, but that's fine. Okay, here's a nut, and I'm not sure who. I think this might be for Grandma.
It is emoji poop. Poopy slime.
There you go. Yeah, and he bought this for his grandmother. What do you think? The emoji poop, super cool, and it's super cool.
Is that something you drink, or what is that?
I have no idea. All I know is it was one of the purchases made.
I am
going to
guess that is $6.99.
Wow, so you're kind of stuck on the $6.99.
I think he went to the same store that everything's $6.99 store.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Now here. This was for me.
It looks like a grapefruit.
Last time we had gone to Pike Place, we watched Beechers because they make cheese down there in Seattle, and we figured the cheese would be done by now. I said, "Could you get me a block of cheese?" He said the line was too long. He didn't want to stand in it because he was tired.
Yeah.
So this is what he got me.
I'm going to say the grapefruit at Pike Place is $3.99.
Okay. It was one grapefruit.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell me the price.
Yeah. No. Not
$3.99. That's a nice looking grapefruit, though.
Okay.
He picked out a good one.
Here you go.
That looks like a tomato.
Yep. That's that's
like
for his
Roma tomato.
That's for his other grandmother, and somehow this is I'm supposed
to survive till the reunion.
It's supposed to survive 2 weeks, and then we take this to the reunion. So we have a
you know what? He seems like he's getting thoughtful gifts though.
They are very, very thoughtful.
That Roma tomato can't be more than $1. I'm going to say $1 for the Roma tomato.
What do you think this is right here?
That looks like basil.
That's a bag of basil.
All right, bag of basil.
He doesn't know what this is for, but he said it smelled great.
It does smell great.
He said it
smelled great. He has a very sensitive nose.
He wanted to give it to Cousin Debbie because he thought this smelled great, and he thinks she should smell great.
Of course.
He's not sure what you do with the basil. He was wondering if she might like to wear it in her hair.
Maybe. I like the way he thinks. I'm going to say the bag.
A bag of hair basil.
This is just in a Ziploc bag.
Bag.
It's about a quarter full. I'm going to say $2 for the basil.
All right. Here we go. And this is it right here. Are you ready?
Yep.
There we go. What's that?
That looks like a piece of glass.
Yeah.
A little like token of glass.
A token of glass.
Glass token.
And he wants this back, by the way.
Of course he does.
Because we didn't know what this was. And then Michael from Camp Michael explained as we were going through all the gifts that this is for good luck.
It's a good luck charm.
And so my son was going to give this to Cousin Jim. But because he found out now, he didn't know what it was for, and now that he knows it's for good luck, he wants it back because he wants good luck.
I'm going to say $9.99.
All right. Why don't you take a moment and add up, and you can just kind of round off here. If you want to pull out a calculator, I don't think it should take much time. But why don't you go ahead and add up all the items here? And as you're adding up all the items,
I've got my total.
Okay. What is your
$30?
$30. Okay.
But you said he's also responsible for lunch.
I found out they didn't have lunch.
Oh wow.
Lunch was so they didn't have lunch.
No lunch.
There was no lunch. I also, and if you want to change your numbers, you can. The basil was free. The bags of basil were being handed out. And then also the grapefruit. The grapefruit I found out was free. And then
you got a free grapefruit?
Free grapefruit. The tomato was 99 cents.
All right, I was pretty right on the tomato.
The emoji poo was actually $10.99.
Oh, so wow, I was a little bit off on that.
Yeah. The
octopus.
Yeah, 99 cents.
All right, I was off on that.
Yeah, and then the piece of glass, nobody knows. They think they might have stole it and forgot to pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a thief on
this. This might be stolen. We don't know. So it adds up to what? Somewhere between $15 and you're guessing $30 here.
Right, $30 max.
I handed over $160, $20 to my son, also $140 to Michael from Camp Michael. And I asked my son last night, I said, hey, where's the change? And he said, change?
You never brought up change in the
What are
game.
you talking about? He said, there's no change. And I said, you spent all the money yesterday on these items? And he looked at me and he said, you know what, Daddy? I told you could trust me. I kid you not. It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Don't go anywhere unless you want to. It's the Ron and Don Show, starring Ron and Don, and sometimes me at ronanddon.com.
All right, it's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. Don't forget, we're licensed realtors. We work with Windermere, Midtown, right in Seattle. Love to be a part of your biggest transaction, buying, selling. Or my friend Mary just called me the other day and said, hey, you know what? I'm just wondering what the net proceeds would be if I decided to sell my house. Should I sell my house, or maybe I should rent my house, lease my house? And so we're having that discussion right now. If you want to have that discussion with one of us, reach out to Ron at Windermere or Don O'Neill at Windermere.com. All right. Hey, it's we're recording this on a Thursday. There's going to be Thursday night football in the city of Seattle. We're all Seahawks fans. If you're listening to us in another part of the country or world, which we know a lot of you do because we can see that online, please put up with us here. But it's Thursday night. It's an exciting night, and the Seahawks for the last 6-7 years been a very exciting team to watch. But it seems, and Ron, I sent you some of these articles, and I want to get your take because I'm going to tie a couple different things here together. This week, as we're getting ready around the NFL to play Thursday night football, and then after that, these are all preseason games, and the real games start.
This is the last week of preseason.
Yeah, we found out that at the age of 29, a superstar player, in fact, when he played at Stanford, you and I went to Stanford, and we watched Andrew Luck play. And we know that he's been a superstar in the NFL with the Colts, and then he's had some issues and some problems, and he decided this week that he was going to walk away from the game. And he gave some reasons for walking away from the game. And one of the reasons he gave is he just doesn't enjoy the rehab. He does not enjoy the rehab. And some of the old school players have gotten very upset with him and like, what are you talking about? You don't enjoy the rehab. Also, the Gronk this week from New England has come out and said the reason that he retired, he said he could physically go back and play the game right now. He said, but it just doesn't burn inside him anymore. And he has decided that at least for now, and a lot of people think he'll probably come back at some point in New England. I think that'll be hard now that he's promoting CBD oil, and we'll get to that in a moment. At the same time, you have a journeyman player. If I mentioned his name, you wouldn't know his name, but he played 7 years in the National Football League. He went out on Twitter this week and said, you know what? My brain is, and you fill in the blank there, is messed up. I've reached out to the NFL. They aren't helping. He feels very violent. He feels very upset. He feels like this could all end in suicide. And as a result of that, he is reaching out on social media to try to get some help and create some awareness. And we've seen this with Dave Duerson, who played for my Chicago Bears, number 22, owned a lot of McDonald's restaurants. And then what happened to Dave? One day, he took out a gun, he shot himself in the heart so they could look at his brain, and sure enough, we find out he had CTE, that protein that grows on the brain. We look at Junior Seau, who took his Jeep, drove off a cliff, and everybody said he was trying to kill himself. He lived, and he said, no, I wasn't trying to kill myself. And then a year later, he killed himself. He took out a gun, did the same thing, shot himself in the heart so they could examine his brain, and we find out. Then we look at the brain bank, he has CTE. When you look at Andrew Luck, and some people are saying, oh, it's because he's a millennial, right? Or you look at a Gronk who's also 29 years of age, and he's walking away from the game. What do you think is going on here with the Gronk run? What do you think is going on with Andrew Luck? And do you approve of these guys saying, you know what? I got money. I still got my health. I'm walking away from the game.
All right, so you brought up, in my mind, several different categories of things. The first one, let's talk about CTE real briefly. We've talked about it before. There have been tens of thousands, if not probably more than 100,000 NFL players in the history of the NFL. A percentage of them do have brain damage. There's no doubt about that. You elucidated on some of the big names that did that. The majority of the players don't exhibit those signs. So it is a risk. It's not a certainty. You can play. You and I both played tackle football for, starting at 7 or 8 years old, almost to the age of 20. Maybe people would look at us and say, yeah, you guys have had brain damage a long time and no one told you.
Right.
But I don't think we have brain damage. So that's a risk, and that's sort of another topic that we can talk about at a different time. The part about the joy of the game, and I watched the Rob Gronkowski press conference and the robbing of the joy. That one is interesting to me because I never knew what these NFL players have to do to get to play on Sunday. And by that, I mean mentally. You and I, early in our radio career, were afforded the opportunity to go into NFL locker rooms. And we'd also been in NBA locker rooms. We'd been in the Seattle Mariners locker rooms. So we got a chance. And when you're in your early 20s, it was like a dream come true to be like, oh my God, I'm standing next to Michael Jordan. But there was a difference in the NFL locker rooms. When we were in an NBA locker room, it was a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of joking. You'd see Michael Jordan, I almost said Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan smoking a cigar after a game. You'd see Rudy Tomjanovich popping a beer open. There was a different mentality there. Same with baseball in a lot of ways. Football, though, it is so violent, and there are so few games. And there are so many guys right on the bubble. Gronk's not on the bubble. Andrew Luck wasn't on the bubble. But about a third of the team on any given week is worried that they could get demoted or cut. And so they have to get themselves into a mental space that is psychotic. And you and I watch this week in and week out where you would see guys, it's not the big name guys, they go out and they have a routine. But there were guys like Shannon Sharp that we remember that would get himself into a psychotic mental state. Bill Romanowski, we saw with our own two eyes. He was a psychopath. before a game. Not on a Tuesday or a Wednesday in the meetings, but on Sunday, psychopath. You would look at Darrell Russell, who ended up in, I think, a murder-suicide case after he got out of the NFL. Dude was the nicest guy in the world. He used to come to our studio and spin records, and we'd order McDonald's for him and have a great time. Funny, jovial, just a guy you'd love to hang around. Okay. Monday through Sunday, or Saturday. Sunday, psychopath. Like you did not, I wouldn't want to get within 100 yards of that guy. And so the mental state that these guys have to get to is taxing. And if it doesn't produce any upside for you anymore, because you know there's going to be pain, you know if you're Rob Gronkowski that Tom Brady's going to be a little inaccurate over the middle, you're going to have to sacrifice your body, and because you're so big, guys are going to punish you, and no ref is going to call a flag on that. Rob Gronkowski knows it's a car wreck every single week for 20 weeks in a row because those guys go deep in the playoffs every year. A car wreck. And I'm not being metaphorical. They've done studies. No. It's as if you got into at least a 25 to 30 mile car wreck every single week. So to get there mentally is costly. And so if you're Rob Gronkowski or if you're Andrew Luck, it's like, I can't get there anymore. Like I don't have the fuel to go to those dark places. And watch an old interview with Marshawn Lynch where he said, you know, when they talked about what is beast mode, and all the fans here in Seattle ate it up, Marshawn Lynch had to go to a very dark place to go into beast mode. And it was beastly, and it was mentally taxing, and it was physically taxing, and it caused his body and psyche harm, I believe. And so that's the exchange. We're going to give you millions of dollars. You sacrifice your body and sometimes your mind for our entertainment.
So you don't have a problem with them walking away at 29?
I don't. And plus the way those two players have generational money. Gronkowski famously never cashed a paycheck or never lived off of NFL money. He always lived off his endorsement money. Andrew Luck did very well. They let him keep his $25+ million from this year. Didn't have to. He could have had to return that money. He didn't. So and he's got a Stanford degree. So I mean, I think he's going to be good to go.
Let me ask you this: we heard that there was going to be a big announcement from Gronkowski, and the big announcement was he's connecting himself with CBD oil. As a result of that, some people say, well, if he's using CBD oil, there's no way that he would be able to come back, because there's rumors that he would come back if New England was going to make another playoff run, and he hasn't denied those rumors. So maybe he sits out the season, saves his body, comes back at the end, and does something heroic, if you can be heroic in the NFL. I don't know. What is your take on this? I was talking to a cop friend of mine that doesn't work here in Seattle, works in another part of the country, and he said that edibles, for instance, has changed his life, and changed his life in a good way. Because sometimes from that job, he has so much anxiety, and he comes home and he can't sleep, and he got tired of taking prescription medication, and he said, you know what? It has made a difference in my life. I was talking to a firefighter friend of mine who is here locally, and he has done something very, very similar, and he's in a job that is very, very taxing. But it seems like when it comes to being a first responder, when it comes to being a cop, or when it comes to being a firefighter, or when it comes to being a football player in the National Football League, the NBA is starting to look the other way when players want to self-medicate. But what is it about marijuana, CBD? They say that 1 in 7 adults around the country either use some type of marijuana or some type of CBD oil.
Because it works.
In order to deal with anxiety or in order to deal with pain. Why is the NFL and why are police departments and fire departments and these agencies all around the country, why are they so behind you?
I think it's just going to take time for them to change. Like there's be more scientific study on this, and you're right. It gets results for people. I haven't tried it. I've thought about it, but I haven't tried it. And yeah, it's interesting that Gronk did that. Did you also notice that he dropped about 40 pounds of muscle?
Yeah.
Huh.
Right.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Also thought it was interesting. Cook County. I used to live in Cook County. Cook County, Illinois announced this week that thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that have gone to jail because of marijuana convictions. That's all going to be expunged.
Good for them.
They said we made a mistake. You sure did when you look around now, because all my friends that are farming marijuana, they're all rich white guys. It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
You should buy a shirt. It's the Ron and Don Nation t-shirt. $5 goes toward helping kids. It's cops helping kids. Find out more at ronanddon.com.
Show. We are licensed realtors, and thanks for reaching out to us. A lot of you have. Ron at Windermere.com, Don O'Neill at Windermere.com, and we'd love to talk real estate with you.
Hey, also, t-shirts available right now. $5 going to Charlie's Dinosaur. Those at ronanddon.com. Just click on the microphone. Our dog bandanas, the demos are on the way to us. So okay. Charlie the dog will get a picture. The new Ron and Don Nation dog bandanas. I just talked to them today. They should be here any day in the mail, and then I can get them up on the store. Oh. So that should be happening relatively soon.
We'll get one on Charlie. I didn't bring it. He's out in the truck and out the windows. He's humping everything right now. Because we're supposed to wait till a year. We're at 11 months right now. And I think I took him on a trail run this morning, and he ran out into the ocean, and he was humping the ocean buoy out there. I'm not even kidding.
He's He's a little out.
He's an active dog. He's a little out of control right now. So anyway, hey, real quick, I just want to. Can I take a moment and congratulate myself?
Sure. What are you congratulating yourself for?
I told you I was going to be here. We're recording this on a Thursday at 1:30.
Yeah.
I'm never here on time. You had shared with me that it bothers you a little bit that I'm always, and I'm not real late. I'm usually about 10 minutes late.
Right.
Usually it's not a half hour. It's usually about 10 minutes. So I've been working really hard on that. And when you pulled in your truck, who pulled in right behind you today?
You were on time today.
This guy, right? You know what? I was 3 minutes early. I pulled in at 1:27, and I'll tell you what I felt horrible about is last week when we were going to record, we got off at the exit. My son looks at me and he goes, "Daddy, I'm hungry." And I said, "You know what? That's not a problem because this guy right here is on time." And I'm pointing to myself right now. I'm like, I'm on time. I have 40 minutes to deal with this lunch problem. And then boom, we're still going to be at Mr. Ron's. We're going to get this podcast recorded. We're in good shape. So we pull in, and the line at Popeyes, because he has his heart set on Popeyes.
You saw the Popeyes chicken.
He said he wants to go to Popeyes. We get to Popeyes. We're in the line at Popeyes, and the line is not moving outside. I said, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to go inside. So I park the truck, lose my place in line. We go inside. The line inside is longer than the line was outside. So I take my son. We get back. It's like an 85-degree day. Charlie's in there. He wants some Popeyes, too. We get back in line, and I finally get everything ordered and paid for, and then it just becomes a parking lot. And we are just sitting there. And sitting there and sitting there and sitting.
You did not know what's going on.
Well, and then I called you because now we're like 25 minutes in, and I'm like, my gosh, I think we're going to be late. And so I coached my son on this. I said, hey, look, I'm going to call Mr. Ron. And it seems like we have been in this line for about 25, 30 minutes, which was the truth. And I said, let's call him and let him know that we're running a little late and we're sorry about it. So we end up calling you, and then I looked to him because we practiced this, and I said, hey, Bubba, how we've been in this line an awful long time. And he said, no, we haven't, Daddy. And I said, yes, we have. How long does it seem like we've been in this line? He goes, about 5 minutes. So anyway,
you got to teach him how to lie better.
We were late last week. Sorry, but today,
you stepped in. You didn't realize. Yeah, you stepped right in.
What was going on?
To the brand new Popeyes sandwich that's going head to head with the Chick-fil-A. I didn't. I looked it up on Twitter when you were in there and this is a national phenomenon.
It is okay.
So Chick-fil-A, their secret, spoiler alert if you don't know this, is they use pickle juice in the brine. And so that's what gives the Chick-fil-A its distinctive taste is the pickle juice. And so going head-to-head against them is Popeyes. And we don't have a lot of Popeyes up here in the Pacific Northwest, but in the South, in a huge swath of the country, Popeyes is gigantic. And people that like Popeyes like it. And they're from Louisiana, so they do dirty rice. I think you can get do they do gumbo? Anyway, they have a lot of different okra and stuff like that. So they're rolling out a chicken sandwich to rival the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. It's got pickles, and people on Twitter were losing their mind to get this sandwich. In fact, I saw someone that got a sandwich They turned around and put it. So the sandwich is the $3.99 or something.
No.
They turned around the same day, put it on Facebook Marketplace for $15.
Come on.
And they sold a chicken sandwich on the secondary market for $15.
Okay.
So, yeah, you got caught into the great chicken sandwich rush. You're on launch day. I don't even know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but I just want to let you know we tried, and I tried to manipulate my son to manipulate you, and it didn't work out. So anyway.
Speaking of nutrition, I fell prey. I don't know if you get this in your social media feeds, and it's probably because I've done one of those programs where I lost like 65 pounds. I get ads everywhere I go for low-carb cereal.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen these.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, so there's a couple companies out there right now. You got the Cereal School and you got Magic Spoon. All right, and so what they have done is they've tried to make our favorite breakfast cereals, and instead of having 40 carbs and like 50 grams of sugar per serving, they have right around 12 grams of protein and 3 carbs. So in this, if you've never done keto or you've never done a diet like this, that may be meaningless to you. In a typical day, if you're in a keto diet, you want to do 40 to 50 grams of carbs for the whole day.
Okay.
So you want your entire day to add up to that. If you ate a traditional bowl of cereal, you're done for the day. You can't have any more carbs. And so, and it works. If you want to lose a lot of weight quickly, you can do it with one of these keto style diets. And so I kept seeing the Magic Spoon everywhere. And so they're like, hey, Magic Spoon has chocolate, which I always like the chocolate cereal. I don't know if you're a Count Chocula guy. I used to like Count Chocula.
Yeah.
They have a fruit.
I thought it was Count Dracula.
Well, Count Dracula is the actual monster. Count Chocula was the cereal.
Oh.
Then
was it Count Dracula that was promoting the Count?
No, it was he inspired the Count. But the Count Chocula was the cereal.
Okay.
So I used to love Count Chocula because the milk would turn chocolatey. Then they have, and this is Magic Spoon, the protein cereal. Yeah. They have fruit, which is a direct corollary to Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops. Yeah. So if you like Fruit Loops, you got that. And so they have a cinnamon toast crunch version is the third one, and then I forget the fourth. Fourth one I think is a frosted flake. So a facsimile.
I love a flake that's frosted.
So they got the big four.
Everybody does.
You got your Fruit Loop.
Yeah.
You got your chocolate puff.
Right.
You got your frosted flake, and you got your cinnamon toast crunch.
That's all you need.
So I keep seeing this ad over and over again.
Maybe a mini wheat somewhere.
And the mini wheats.
That's a secondary syrup.
You know how many carbs?
A mini wheat's a secondary syrup.
You know how many carbs are in a bowl of mini wheats? Probably 80 carbs, I bet, in a bowl of mini wheats.
Right. Yeah.
So I keep seeing this ad, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. So I click on the ad. I'm over on Magic Spoon. And I'm like, I like cereal. I got my almond milk, my milk, my soy beverages ready to roll. And I'm like, so what would you guess the party pack of protein cereals would cost? A taste of all four. You got your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You got your cocoa.
Are they the little mini boxes? Like
no,
when
it's
we used
like
to
a
go camping?
legit. It's a box of cereal.
Where you can make the little box into a bowl.
It's a box of cereal.
Okay.
But you get all four flavors.
$50.
Well, you're ruining it.
$10.
How much is a regular box of cereal when you go to the grocery store?
Last night I bought a box, $5.99.
It's $5.99. So if you did buy, so you're thinking
$20. What do you need me to guess high or low?
It was $40.
Wow. Am I supposed to be amazed at this?
I don't know.
That's
it seems like a lot for $4.
That seems like a lot.
It's $10 a month.
Okay.
So at first I closed the ad. I'm going to spend $40 for cereal. And then I went back. I clicked on it again. I bought the 4-pack.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So it's in the mail right now.
It is, okay.
I'm going to get this. I guess I'll be the guinea pig for the Ronadon Nation.
You'll report.
I have lost, you can attest this. I have lost a significant amount of weight.
You have.
Going low carb.
You have, yeah.
It's hard when you like cereal. I found a low carb pancake, which I like, that I can also make waffles out of. So that's good. But like, man, sometimes you just want a cereal or you want a carb in your life. And I know that when you're running, all these miles every week, you don't have to worry about that. But for people that need to watch it, I've taken the plunge. I'll report back. Maybe we'll do a taste test next week when I actually get these 4 flavors and you can try them for yourself. You're a cereal guy.
Well, you know what? I wasn't a cereal guy, and I'm gonna admit something to you right now. Like over the last week, I gained 3 pounds, and I didn't know why I gained 3 pounds because I'm running as much as ever, and I eat the way I eat, and I still don't consume alcohol, and I really watch my diet, and I try to eat a lot of vegetables. And I'm like, where did this 3 pounds come from? And what's weird is I've gotten older. I had a hard time sleeping. And then when I stopped drinking and I started watching my diet, I sleep well through the night. But I always wake up at about 2:30 in the morning. And I read that if you just lay there and try to go back to sleep and you're not going back to sleep, you should get up and do something.
I've read that same thing.
So I read this. And my son and I were going camping a couple weeks ago, and I went on this hunt for the little boxes that I was just of all the different cereals. And you can make the box into a bowl.
Right.
And I got really, because I looked at 3 stores, and I finally found these boxes. I got really pumped up about it. And I haven't eaten cereal in years. And anyway, I got up last week, and I'm standing. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm naked, because that's how I sleep. And Charlie's just kind of looking at me, and I'm looking back at Charlie, because Charlie follows me around the house. Even when it's 2:30, I get out of bed, I step on him, and then he'll just follow me around, my dog. And then he's just kind of staring at me, and we're staring in the kitchen. And I look over, and I see a box of Fruit Loops, and I'm like, I wonder what those taste like.
It tastes like Fruit Loops.
I haven't had Fruit Loops in 30 years. And so I got out, the box is a bowl. So I spent time making the box into a bowl.
Cut a slit down the middle.
I took the milk. This is at 2:30 in the morning.
I bet it was delicious.
I ate that cereal, and I went to bed. And then I got up the next day I went to bed the next night. Boom.
2:30.
2:30 in the
Fruit
morning.
Loops.
I'm sitting there. No, because it's the variety.
Oh, Frosted Flakes.
I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I wonder what those corn pops. I have not. It's not that good. So anyway, I have had, and I have to admit this to you, I've had 9 little mini boxes of cereal.
Well, this will be perfect.
The last 9 nights.
I've got the protein stuff coming. You can do a taste test.
I got to come up with something different to do at 2:30 in the morning rather than just step on my dog, stand in the kitchen naked, have him stare at me. I try to stare back at him, but I don't have my contacts in, so I can't see anything. And making little boxes of cereal that were meant for my son. By the way, it's like, Daddy, where did all my cereal go? No. It's the Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Ron and Don. Ron and Don. Ron and Don. Ron and Don. On the Ron and Don Radio Network, man.
Okay, how much do I have to pay you for this?
$1.
All right, before we get out of here, Ron and Don Show only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. I got to admit, I feel like I'm admitting a lot of things.
Yeah, you are. It's a confessional.
Like there's a cleansing, and I'm coming clean. And I understand Taylor Swift loves the Ron and Don Show, and loves us.
How do you understand that?
That's what I've heard. I heard this from Katy Perry. I was talking to her
really?
the other day.
Okay.
And Katy knows that I'm a Perry cat.
It's called a Katy cat.
That's what not when you're in the inner circle.
Oh, okay.
When you're in the inner circle, it's different.
It's a Perry cat.
Yeah, and once in a while I hang out.
Maybe it's a Periscope.
Once in a while I hang out with Jay-Z and Beyonce. I drink some lemonade in the Bayhive. And you know that not only am I a believer with Justin Bieber, but I'm a huge, and this is true. This goes all the way back to my Kiss Army days. I was a Swiftie before Taylor Swift was even born. And I'm in the inner circle, the outer circle. I'm in all the circles.
How can you be a Swiftie before she's born?
Don't think I wasn't. So anyway, I hear the other day, her album comes out.
The single was catchy.
Was it good? You liked it? And so within one day, it just flies by my girl Lady Gaga and also Brad Cooper. So
Bradley, the Star is Born thing is like a year old
when you're
now.
close to him, you're in the circle. He's just Brad. He's just
Gotcha.
Brad Cooper and Gaga. That's how they like when I'm talking.
I call
to
him B-Dog.
When we're doing FaceTime together, just the three of us, they like, hey, it's Gaga. Hey, it's Brad. What's going on? And so we have these discussions. This is what's upsetting to me. And this is where I don't feel like Taylor Swift is being real with us, because she has this whole thing where we feel like she's being real with us as a Swiftie, and then sometimes I wonder if this is just all made up. She releases part of her diary and takes us back to the award show where Kanye West stormed the stage, grabbed the microphone, and made her a superstar. Nobody knew who Taylor Swift was.
You did, because you knew before she was even born.
I was a Swiftie. But nobody else knew who Taylor Swift was.
How did they know? She's winning a Grammy.
No one knew.
How did she win a Grammy and no one knew?
You know what? I would bet that you could look at all the Grammy Awards over the last 200 years, let's say, and you look at everybody that's won Grammy Awards, you wouldn't know any of their names, especially going back to 1876. You're not going to know those guys.
In fairness.
You're just not. You're not going to know those
The television coverage is horrible.
In 1876. Yeah, that's my point. I mean, if George Washington was around today during the television coverage or even on the internet, think of those teeth.
I would definitely follow him on Twitter, though.
Yeah, I would. So anyway, I thought, wow, Kanye West really did you a favor when he stormed the stage and he made you a superstar. What she does before she sends out this album into the world, into the stratosphere, is she goes back this past week and tells us how much Kanye West hurt her. And then she starts releasing some of her diaries about the way she felt back in 2009 as a result of Kanye West storming the stage. And you know what happened? Kanye West just made Taylor Swift the richest pop star in the world as a result of what he did back in 2009. And now, here we are in 2019. She said she forgave him. And as a Swiftie, I forgave him too. And now I'm not supposed to forgive him after I read this diary, who I bet Kim Kardashian actually really wrote, and the three of them are all in on this thing. It's the Ron and Don Show. Thanks for listening on the Ron and Don Radio Network, and don't forget this week, the Ron and Don Show drops every Monday. Give us a like, give us a listen, right?
Yeah, subscribe. We really appreciate it. And you can become a supporter of the show on Anchor FM. And so we would love it if you did that. T-shirts available. The dog bandana's out any day now as soon as we get them.
Yeah. Hey, keep your head up, your shoulders back. We'll talk at you next week right here on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Ron and Don.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.